Hey, my name is Skylar. I'm a lifestyle fat loss coach, and I do things a little bit differently than most. I have a completely holistic view on burning fat, building muscle, and becoming the healthiest version of you. And since I started making changes in my own life, I've taken a very down-to-earth approach to taking care of your health. Now, the truth is, besides how I'm feeling and looking, I haven't ever gotten down to the numbers of if what I'm doing is actually working for my health. Well, I figured it was time to put my money where my mouth is and get some blood work done. Now, if you weren't aware, there's clearly a problem with men today, with normal testosterone levels plummeting compared to 20 plus years ago. And while some people believe that it's genetics and uncontrollable factors, I believe that your health, your hormones, and your happiness is completely within your control. And it's funny because my lifestyle is basically the opposite of what most mainstream health experts are recommending, yet I feel the best I've ever felt in my life. That's right. Instead of getting, quote, heart-healthy seed oils, I stick to things like grass-fed butter. Instead of plant-based products, I stick to healthy, sustainably sourced meats. Instead of eating 6 meals a day, I choose to eat 2 meals a day, and I also fast for 24 hours or more every week. And honestly, there's a lot more than that. So, am I actually doing the right things? I decided to get some blood work to find out. All right, so it's a little past 10 a.m. and I am about to go get my blood drawn. I am fasted, so I haven't eaten since last night. We're gonna get this done, see the results. I haven't gotten blood drawn in years and years. Needles don't really make me nervous, but I sometimes do get nauseous after, so I'm hoping everything is okay. I'm gonna be fine. But yeah, that's it. Okay, we're in the parking lot, about to walk in. Quick question for you. What did the DJ name his son? Eric? All right, let's get his blood. 1 week later. It's a week later, we're back. I didn't realize the cortisol test had to be done before 10 a.m. I got there like 10:30. But we're back. It's 9. So hopefully I can get in by 10. I'm gonna go actually get the blood work done this time. Let's go. A few moments later. That was super easy. Last time I was in there for like 30 minutes before they even got me up to the counter, and it's about 15 minutes later and I'm in and out. So a couple weeks. I mean, I don't even think it'll be a couple weeks. It'll probably be sooner than that. But we got blood. They were hyping me up in there. Just talking about my dating life. And yeah, time to get home. We got to work out here in an hour. And I'll report back when we got the data. Several bad puns later. All right. So we are cooking dinner. And I check my email. And I see that my lab work results are ready. Here we go. Just got the compooper here. Truth is, I'm not gonna know what most of this means, but what I'm really looking forward to is just my free testosterone. All right, let's see. Shut up, dude. Well, I have a testosterone of 1,008, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't know what any of these mean. But I will say that it's like my sex hormone binding glob serum is high, cortisol, which seems to be in range. Everything looks solid. We're gonna do a full run through. I don't want to spoil too much. Holy shit, man, that's crazy. Yeah, we'll talk to Garret and then we'll come back. Let's go. So as part of my blood work panel, I got to sit down with Garret GQ Query. Garret is the owner and founder of Intentional Strength Training. He spent the better part of the last decade working in strength and conditioning, training hundreds of women to their best in and outside the gym. Intentional Strength offers online functional health coaching paired with strength and conditioning tailored to women. They also offer blood work and consultations to get to the bottom of your health problems by seeking the root cause.
Yeah, we're going to just kind of start right from the top. And, cortisol in the morning, you're pretty in the middle, right? So you probably have I would guess, a pretty decent like cortisol awakening response. You've been, from my knowledge, self-employed for quite some time. You don't really have a necessity to really wake up at a specific time, I'm going to assume.
I have typically 3. It was previously like 4 or 5 days a week. Now it's 3. I have a 7 a.m. call, so I am required to get up. I mean, technically like 6:50, but I get up around 6:30 latest.
Right, but you probably also go to bed at a decent time, yeah?
Yes, definitely.
And you get daily sunlight in the morning. So most likely you have a pretty decent circadian rhythm. Waking up is probably relatively easy for you, right? Like you're not struggling to wake up. You don't need a caffeine IV to get out of bed in the morning. You have a pretty decent cortisol response.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, there's some mornings where like if I'm up at 5:30 to hit the gym, I'm a little more tired, moving slowly, but it's not debilitating.
I mean, and that makes sense, right? Because your normal wake up time, I'm guessing, is probably like 6:30. You probably wake up pretty naturally around that time. So 5:30, that's a full hour earlier. Your body's like, yo, what are you doing?
Yeah.
All right. So moving right on down, DHEA, good place. That is going to be a precursor to your testosterone, your androgens, things along those lines. Again, kind of right in the middle and in a really good place. And as we get further down the lab work, we know that we're at a pretty happy right in the middle.
Are these, because I know we've had this conversation about like how they're giving low number, high number, that's average, right? Like that's not ideal.
So basically, the majority of labs are going to pull the average of like 10,000 people. As we look at the general health and wellness of the population of America, generally, we're not looking at a very healthy population, right? So that is a game of averages against a rather unhealthy population. I am fortunate enough to have access to functional ranges. So what would be optimal? So if we go ahead and pull that up, our range is anywhere between 31 to 701. So if we're looking at optimal health and functional health ranges, we're looking at between 280 and 520. For how old are you again?
28.
28. So ages 20 to 29 for a man is going to be 280 to 640. Estradiol, 25.9. Optimal range for men, you're looking at 10 to 50. Now, this is something that there is a lot of conflict in the industry about, is like, what is like optimal range for estrogen? Well, we know that we don't want estrogen to be completely tanked in a man, because estrogen is cardiac protective. So it protects your heart. It is responsible in a portion of how you're going to get a boner. So we do need estrogen to complement your testosterone. And so, especially for males who are either on PEDs or someone like yourself, as we get further down this panel, who has higher testosterone, having even a little bit higher estrogen value would not necessarily be a bad thing. People demonize hormones and treat things in silos, and we can't treat things in silos. Everything has a responsibility. So your estrogen falls right in that range and is great.
Sweet.
Continuing right on down the line, LH and FSH, those are going to be stimulating hormones. In a woman, that's going to stimulate egg growth in the ovaries. In men, it controls the production of sperm. So this is going to be like an indicator of your sperm production. Luteinizing hormone in men signals the testes to make testosterone. And what was the value there on the LH?
LH, I got 4.6.
Again, right in the middle of that range. And FSH?
FSH is 2, so that looks lower, but
yep, a little bit on the lower side, but nothing of major concern.
Cool.
Functional ranges for LH in a healthy male is going to be 1.5 to 9.3, 1.6 to 8.0 MIU per milliliter for a male for FSH.
Okay, so a little bit on the lower end, which is, you said sperm production?
Yes, sir.
So I got a low risk for having a baby?
I guess I wouldn't bank on it.
No, I'm not gonna bet there.
All right, moving right along, my man. As we go, progesterone 0.4 for you, 1 to 1.2 is going to be optimal. So a little bit lower on that end from a functional standpoint. As we look at the lab work, we see that range, you actually fall on the high side of their range. So small amounts in a male is important for sexual function and cognitive function, part of precursors to your estrogen and a couple other markers. I'm going to be honest, I haven't dealt with like progesterone or low progesterone in a man. You're not alarming, like with such a small range. I wouldn't really be super alarmed about it, but it would be something I would have to look into as far as like, hey, how do we optimize that? And looking lower on your panel, as we look at like sex hormone binding globulin, it may just simply be like a stress thing, right? Like we know that stress can play a huge role, based on your SHBG, there is probably a stress component factor for you. Knowing you, I've known you for a while, and I know a lot of your practices as far as how you handle nutrition, how you handle daily sunlight, circadian rhythm regulation. Like you do a lot of the right things, but there is a certain amount of unavoidable stress, especially being a business owner. We can do all the right things in the world, but there's still going to be small impacts for sure.
Gotcha.
Moving right along, prostate in a good place. I don't believe I have the functional range for that, falling within range as far as the test goes. And then as we get down to sex hormone binding globulin, a little bit higher. Again, like I said, when we look at sex hormone binding globulin, it is a little bit higher. What do we know about sex hormone binding globulin is that it is going to bind to 3 sex hormones, which actually makes a little bit more sense as far as the progesterone. It is produced by the liver. So what can happen is that sex hormone binding globulin binds that up and basically waits until it needs to be released. When we do have situations where we have stress, that sex hormone binding globulin can bind up hormones. The unfortunate part of the human body is we never got an update like our iPhones did, right? Like they don't know any difference between you're missing a meeting because you woke up late, or you're stuck in traffic, or your AC is out in the middle of summer in Arizona. We never got that update, right? When we see stress levels like that, comparatively speaking to 500 years ago, where for the most part, like we led a much less stressful lifestyle. As far as daily practices, stress was going to be coming from like our family members. It was going to be coming from maybe a drought, something along those lines, but we had far less stress. Whereas like daily, we can have multitudes of stress impacts that can impact us on a day-to-day basis, sometimes minute by minute. And so reproduction is not your body's highest priority when it's in a stressed out state. So it can bind up and hold on to those sex hormones, estrogen, testosterone, progesterone. It doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't available and your body isn't producing them. They're just being bound up, waiting to be released when we're in a little bit of a less stressful situation. So as we look at your markers, you have a great total testosterone because you do a lot of those factors as far as getting optimal sunlight, you're eating a highly nutrient dense diet, you care about your sleep, you're not overstimulating yourself with caffeine to my awareness, etc. But then we do see, hey, there is obviously some stress factors in your life. We could be binding up some of those sex hormones like your testosterone. So we see high, according to the panel, testosterone. And then we see a little bit lower free testosterone, not like completely tanked by any means, but could be optimized. So in this situation, what I recommend for clients with a little bit higher SHGB is a really easy fix, and a natural mineral that can help out with this is going to be boron. I would say start with about 6 milligrams in the morning on a day-to-day basis, and this can help free up some of your testosterone, and you would notice some better and easier muscle building. You're going to notice that you probably have even a little bit higher libido, things along those lines, with having more free testosterone available. And that covers your panel. So as far as this call goes, and everything is just, obviously a lot of the things that, you, Skylar, do is impactful on your health. I do have a couple questions for you.
So for the purposes of this video, I did want to keep this to the basics of the blood work. After this, there's about a good 40 minutes of footage of diving into training styles, diving into nutrition practices, and some other incredible things. Garret is a genius and he is an expert at what he does. So if you are interested in watching that full video, you can find that link in the description below.
For people who want to find your stuff, maybe want to connect with you if they're interested in blood work or anything like that, what's the best steps for them?
You can find me, my personal page is GQ Fitness with an extra S.
Appreciate it, bro.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Well, what a surprise. So it turns out, as someone who lives a very holistic lifestyle and has these weird habits, it seems like it pays off. I'm honestly really happy with these blood results. I just ordered the boron that I'll be getting soon. I'm going to start taking that, and I actually will be doing a follow-up video on this, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not. Also, if you're looking to get blood work done and you would like a consult with Garret, he's able to work nationwide with people, and so you can reach out to him. His information will be in the description below. Make sure if you do reach out, you mention that you came from this video and he'll set you up with a nice discount. But like I said, it's really, really cool to see that my testosterone levels are at a very healthy amount, and now all I got to do is get that free testosterone up. It's a lot more encouraging as well from a society of men that have testosterone between 200 to 800 as an average, and it's a nice confirmation that I'm doing the right things. I put out a video a while back about how I gained about 10 pounds of muscle in a month. In that video, I mentioned a lot of things that do help with boosting testosterone. Please understand understand, whether you're considering blood work or even if you're considering hopping on TRT to increase your test levels, there are a lot of things that you can do to naturally increase testosterone. If you're looking for any help with that, just shoot me a DM on Instagram. But that's all I got for you. Look, I've got some cool challenges coming out these next few months. Got some awesome videos planned. So if you are interested in learning how to simplify the process of getting healthy and also how to optimize your health once you've become healthy, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you tap that like button and that bell. And like I said, if you are looking for fat loss help, check the link in the description. We've got a free training there for you that lays out exactly what we do and how we do it and why it works so well. And we've also got an opportunity to book a call if you are interested in potentially working together. So with that being said, as always, make sure to eat smart, move more, sleep deep, and be grateful for this moment. I'll see you in the next video.